These people have an agenda to be here in this country. These people are not looking for asylum. Why did the plane leave Kenya to South Africa? We want to know, why did the plane leave Kenya to South Africa? And why did the Kenyan allow that plane to land in the country? And why did the South African government allow this plane to land in our country? Who's collecting money? Who is collecting money and who's trafficking people to our country? Who is trafficking people to our country? And our president knows nothing. Ministers of government knows nothing. Our leaders knows nothing. The GNU knows nothing. The DA knows nothing. This is rubbish, Bafet. Let me play you the next clip. And people playing mind games. And this Dr. Solomon, this guy is going to get in my nerve. Because he's the only one, and the NGOs who knew about these things. He's the only one and the NGOs who knew about whatever's happening because they've been communicating with these people. These NGOs are collecting money. And I'm hearing some of them are doctors and what. They're going to be taking our jobs in our country. If you're a doctor, you must know there are more doctors that are bringing in our country. Let me play you the next clip.
Let's now take you to this. The Gift of the Givers, Imtiaz Suleiman, has released a statement thanking DIRCO, DG Zain Dango and Minister Ronald Lamola for receiving Palestinian refugees who arrived on a flight to Johannesburg this morning. Dr. Suleiman says Gift of the Givers, with other civil society partners, will provide humanitarian assistance. Let's now get more details from Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman. Dr. Suleiman, a very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for your time. So we saw the statement where you are thanking DIRCO and, of course, Minister Lamola for facilitating this arrival of Palestinian refugees. Just speak to us and expand on just the scale of the humanitarian assistance your organization, Gift of the Givers, is providing to these refugees and what their immediate needs are at this stage.
Good afternoon. You know, these people have been very traumatized, but there's a back-end story to this. This is not the first plane. This is the second plane. On the 28th of October, a plane arrived in Tambo Airport, and, you know, these people were displaced. They didn't know where to go. They had no contact numbers, no phone numbers. And a person called Nigel Bentley from the church found them and, you know, started putting them together with other civil society organizations, and members of my team got involved. I'm not sure how they found them, where they were displaced. There were 176 of them, and then some of them went back to other countries. The family members of this first group then told us yesterday that their family members are coming on the second plane, and nobody knew about that plane. And it seems from their feedback, Israel is voluntarily removing people from Gaza. You know, this is ethnic cleansing at its best, and taking away their goods, their hygiene packs, their food, sending them onto chartered planes, and government has to investigate how people are coming on chartered planes without stamps. Israel did not stamp their passports, so they're sort of traveling illegally, brought into South Africa, and the second plane came in this morning at 8 o'clock. The Border Management Authority didn't allow them to get off the plane, simply because they were following the rules, that there is no stamp on the passport. And I mean, they were trying to follow rules and not get into trouble for the stamp. I got hold of Zain Dango. He's in Canada. Of course, he spoke to the minister and other people in DIRCO. I spoke to the Border Management Authority, other people involved in this issue, and it was about the stamp. And of course, now this afternoon, the minister is writing to the Minister of Home Affairs, because that's his policy or his portfolio, to waive the stamp requirement, so these people then could come into the airport and come into the country and seek asylum. What's worrying for me is, why should DIRCO be writing to Home Affairs when Home Affairs themselves could have realized that this is a humanitarian crisis and they could have waived that requirement themselves without waiting for a letter to come from DIRCO? In any case, they're there. they're hungry. There's a pregnant woman. There's children. They were caught in that plane for 8 to 10 hours, perspiring. The hair is soaked. The plane is in a terrible condition. No proper, the one toilet or two toilets is not enough. And those people are really distraught, coming from 2 years of genocide. We've provided meals, and it's not only us. Civil society organizations are getting involved. A lot of people have already offered food, clothing, medical support. Our medical teams did see the first team that came a few days ago, and now they are ready to check the second team out. And also, people have offered houses, and lots of people want to get involved. So we're very grateful for South Africans. We're grateful for the government for making this happen, in keeping with our policy of taking Israel to the ICC and to ICJ, and of course, getting countries in Bogota to put sanctions against Israel. So we really appreciate the efforts of our government. It's just that the Border Management Authority had to follow the mandate because these are civil servants. They can't do what they want. They have to follow the law. And the minister should have waived this thing even before the plane landed.
Yeah. Just speak to us then about those that have arrived, Dr. Suleiman, in terms of just what the immediate logistics are. I know you spoke about how they will be housed, in certain private homes, but in the main, what is the plan going forward?
Well, we asked for a holding room at OR Tambo. Most important is to give these people comfort and reassurance that they're safe. I mean, they're sitting on a plane for now probably 10 to 12 hours, 10 hours. And, it's difficult for them. They're not sure where they've come, what the issue is. But fortunately, some of their family members are on the other plane. We've got Palestinians in South Africa, which we are now going to send to the airport to receive these people. We will house them in inverted commas house at the airport. We've just arranged food and drinks for them. And from there, we will move them to houses which have already been arranged for them. But first, when we move them to a common spot, we'll get medical teams to look at them. Because of 2 years of genocide, we're not sure what the level of the state, what the state is like. And they're totally traumatized. They will need psychological support, but those in stages. Right now, get them off the plane, get them food and water, move them to homes, get the medical guys to see them, let them relax, let them be sure that they're safe and they're fine, and thereafter we'll continue with the other process.
Wafed, this guy's just complaining and complaining and complaining. He's saying that his first complaint is that they had 2 toilets in the plane when they were still kept in the plane for 12 hours. I mean, I don't understand this man. What does he expect our border control to do when people are coming to a country with no documents, when people are coming to a country with no stamps? So our border controls must just open the gates and allow people to get in our country. Just because they're saying that they're from Palestine, we must just open up the gates and allow them to come to our country. That cannot happen. There's laws that must be followed in this country. There are laws that must be followed in this country. He comes again and pushes this propaganda. He knows that in Israel, there is no stamps that they make. Google it, Wafed. Go Google it yourself. Go ask Google, does the Israel stamp passports? The Israel does not stamp passport. They will actually give you a permit. They will give you a receipt. They will stamp in that receipt, but not in your actual documents. He knows these things, but he comes and pushes this propaganda nonsense. He comes here and mislead our people. He knows this. He knows this. And he comes here because our government are doing nothing. These are the people who are bringing these people. How did he know about these people who are coming to our country when our government don't know? How come these NGOs and these nonsense people, they know about this place when we know nothing about this, whatever's going on in our country? Who are these people that they know more than the government? Who are these people who knows more than what our ministers knows about what's going on in our country? If we are not being fooled, and why did Minister of Home Affairs say nothing when that first plane came to our country? These people, they think that we are fools. These people travel 9,000 kilometers to come to South Africa. These people are being trafficked. These people have been trafficked. These people have been trafficked to our country. This country must just help everyone. How many people are we going to bring in this country? We are going through a lot as a country. come, even our country don't have even a number of people that we can accept in the country. To say, look, if we have accepted 10,000, we cannot take more than 10,000. How come our country does not have a limit of refugees? How come our country does not have a limit of asylum seekers? How come we don't have a limit to say we cannot take any more? We don't even have refugees camp where these people are supposed to be going. But these people, they take people from war zone and integrate them with the community. Make it make sense, my friend. These people come from war zone. You take the people, you just put them in hotels, you just put them everywhere in the country.